Hey, what's up, guys? So this is a live look at the Nasdaq futures, and tonight's an interesting night because we have the debate in 15 minutes, Trump versus Biden, and I think we don't have a lot of high hopes for this. Sad to say, those of us who are American, but today's going to be all about just checking out the Nasdaq and see how we're doing. So this is a futures chart, and futures trade when the market is closed, and it doesn't have, so if futures are green, it doesn't 100% mean that the market's going to be green the next day, and vice versa. If it's red, it doesn't mean it's going to be green or red the next day. Oftentimes they have opposite correlations, and other times they don't really correlate at all. So it's not, watching futures is not if you're not trading the futures itself, because you can trade futures, it doesn't necessarily translate into when the market is open, which is 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. So if we look here, we are at the daily Nasdaq futures chart. And if we zoom in here, this is the big high here. This high coincides with the Apple split and the Tesla split. All right. So everybody had the hype. They were like, oh, should I buy? Should I buy? It's ripping, 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 ripping. And then the stock split. And everyone's like, oh my God, I got to buy before the stock split. And then it went boop and it dropped down, right? So this is a prime example of market psychology at work. And we pulled back, bounced, pulled back, bounced, and then pulled back again, and now we're moving back up. So this point right here in the market is actually a pretty big deal. Reason is because we are actually bouncing off of the Ichimoku cloud support, which is this yellow cloud here, this yellow shaded area. And being that we bounced off of it, as is a pretty good indicator that there's some strength in the market. Now, if we had gone down, bounced, and rejected here and went lower here, and then started trading at the bottom of this cloud, then I'd be pretty worried in terms of technology stocks in general, because if this broke the cloud, we would be on a downward trajectory. And so that would not be good for the overall market, your 401k, your long-term investments, the whole bit, because NASDAQ tends to either lift the market up or drag the market down because there's so much money in technology stocks. So here what we have is a bounce off of that Ichimoku cloud. And right now we made it above some of the moving averages, which is a good sign. And now we're just in this tight range right here. So we had this here, this candle here, and this candle here can be viewed as a double bottom, essentially. So this area here is a level to watch. Now, if we broke that level, these two, basically this low here and then this low here, the market would signal trouble. All right, that would signal trouble here for overall market, tech stocks, and everything else. Now, being that we bounced off this level shows strength, and we actually have a flag forming, which basically is a strong move to the upside, and then there's a little bit of a pullback, which is kind of what we're seeing in this area here. All right, so this is basically the form of a bull flag. So it's a strong move up and then a little bit of a move down, some consolidation, and this is trading within this day's range. So as long as this low holds from yesterday, and the low is at 11.22.6, $11,226 or points. If that holds, then we're looking like we can get a move up to about that 12,000 range. Okay. And I suspect that if it happens, it's going to happen pretty quickly. So that's what I'm looking at for technology. I'm looking at this bull flag formation here. Um, I'm seeing that strength off of the Ichimoku cloud, which is a great sign. So let's look at another time frame here. Let's go to the 4-hour. And if we look at the 4-hour, you can see that this double bottom, this bottom here and this bottom here, and this is not an exact trend line, but you get the point. This right here looks like a double bottom forming, and then we have that strong move up, a little bit of consolidation here, and then we could or should get a stronger move to the upside. So based on this double bottom, this is an extremely important area for the market to hold. If it doesn't hold this area, then we're going to see some pain because it's going to break, and it's going to head down. It's going to get ugly if it doesn't hold this level. So that's it for Nasdaq. Let's look at the 30-minute. So even here, you can actually see I drew a very loose flag. Like this is not the way to draw it, but this is just an idea. But you can see the upward move and then the sideways to slightly down action, and that usually breaks out to the upside. So we're going to see what happens on that. 15 minutes also above the Ichimoku cloud, which is good. The 4-hour though is the one so this is the only thing that can go either way, is the 4-hour. And I like the 4-hour a lot because it gives you a shorter intermediate term view of the market or the stock that you're looking at or the currency. And it allows you to swing trade a little bit better. So I like the 4-hour not for a long-term investing view, but from a shorter term swing trading type of view, whether it be overnight or over a week time. So that's why I actually like the 4-hour. And if we look at the momentum indicator here, which is a squeeze indicator, which I like, which is similar to the MACD momentum indicator, we're seeing this slope here, and now it's starting to turn green here. So we should see these bars continue to go higher, which is going to be, it's going to look like this area over here, which is going to indicate buying pressure and higher prices. So the other thing is the RSI on the 4-hour. If we look at it here, we're hovering right at about 55 for the relative strength index, and anything over 50 is considered in the bullish zone. Doesn't mean that it's going up super quickly. It's more of just kind of gaining its ground. So if it holds that 50 to 55 area, then it's going to make its way above 60, which it then increases in price velocity. And then we start to go above 70 area, which also increases. So if we look at the 4-hour, right, and where we topped out right over here, this is the Apple and Tesla area of the split. This is when market was at peak hype. Everybody was like, yo, I want to buy this, buy that. And then what happens at those junctures? We tend to go the opposite way of what everybody is expecting. People who trade the market were expecting a pullback because we really just hadn't gone down much. It was just kind of going straight up. But if we look at the RSI, right? So this is a super interesting view here. So if we look at the RSI, we're over 60 here in this area here. And then once we start hitting that 70 area, if you look here, So if you look RSI down here with the pointer is, and then you bring it up to here, this candle broke this high over here, these two candle highs, these 1, 2, 3, 4 candle highs, and this one broke it. What happened when it broke it? It kept going, right? What happened when it broke over here, the 70 area on the RSI? What happened to the RSI? It went hot. It went all the way into overbought area, which is over it's like around 80, 81, right? And this lines up with this area. And then it had a super small pullback. So if we look at the RSI, it pulled back and it tested that 70 area, that yellow line. And then it continued, the RSI continued climbing back up, which led to the stock climbing, this Nasdaq climbing back up as well. So when we're over 60 RSI, it starts to take on some new levels, which is around this area where we broke. And then when we get over that 70 level, then we start taking even higher price action. So if we and then when it hits an overbought area, if you look here and you line up those two tops on the RSI, they basically line up. So that was a signal that the market was overbought, and that's actually an RSI divergence, which we can go into, but you can look into that a little bit more. And then we pulled back hard and we hit oversold level. So we went from overbought 80 RSI, 80 something, 84 at least, and we went all the way down and we hit the bottom range, which was 30 really quickly, right? And then we started bouncing, the RSI is bouncing, but the price is still making new lows over here. So it's getting lower. Even though this is bouncing up, it's kind of bouncing, but it's going lower. And then on the bottom here on the RSI, if we look, we're bottoming out here, 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 here. And then on the stock, we're bottoming out here and here. So if we look at the last high of the RSI, for example, and we just draw just a quick line to the right. So right there, the RSI here broke. So the relative strength of the stock, or this, which is Nasdaq futures, broke that prior high. All right. And it's starting to find a base right here. So as long as we hold above this area, which is again the 50 area, so above 50 we're more bullish, below 50 we're going to be looking for downside, it's more bearish. So as long as we hold this 50 area in the 4-hour chart, we should be going higher on Nasdaq. And then this pattern kind of confirms it for me, or gives me an idea as well of what to expect. So again, that's the 4-hour chart. I really like the 4-hour chart, and that's really it. Let's look at the weekly real quick. So the weekly here is in an interesting spot. Really, what this means right here, this is the weekly. So we've got a high of 11,399 and we've got a low of 11,226, and we're at 11,334 as we're recording this video. It's about to be 9 p.m. and the debate is about to start in 2 minutes. So what I'm seeing here, this little tight candle here is forming a doji, which means indecision. So this right here can go either way. This can drop back down and test last week's lows, or, which is what I'm thinking, is we can head higher from here. So why? Because we're above the previous week's highs, which was 11,191. Now, the next area that we need to clear to see a strong move up is the high of the previous week, which is the week of September 14th, and the high is 11,481. The high of this week so far is 11,399. So if we catch the momentum and we break the high right here of 11,481 area, right around here. So if we break that, then we're gonna test these highs over here. This 12,000 area is very likely. And if you look here, just kind of like a quick little trend line, which I've been watching on the daily. Why didn't it save? So on the daily, if I take this line here and I go down, and this line down here, I don't really like that trend line, but I had a trend line drawn. It's in this area, but this candle over here basically breaks that trend line area. So that's why I'm short-term bullish. So we'll see what happens.